fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Same problem, different perspective. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, back again with Salt Strong Unchurched. This past Sunday, we had a guest speaker at the church that we attend to and sometimes watch online. And wow, I usually don't take notes. I'm not one of those people. I don't highlight my Bible during church service. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I love to listen intently and not be writing notes. However, this time I did. Wow, this guy dropped some truth bombs and just such a powerful story. Young guy, like I'm guessing like 40, young. And you're welcome, all you 40-year-olds, like myself, who consider that young now. Young kids, and as pastor of a church in Central Florida. And his wife started just kind of feeling ill, healthy, all was going well, no past health issues. And all of a sudden, the report comes back, stage 4 cancer, as in like 20% chance of living stage 4 cancer. And you can only imagine the feeling that she felt, that he felt, that the whole family felt, that the whole church felt for him. And I can also only imagine, as pastor, you have to, as a pastor, you're preaching all the time about, hey, things happen to you for a reason. And, even the bad things you got to celebrate. And he's like, I've been preaching that for a long time and really hadn't had to live through it until my own wife got stage 4 cancer and was told there's a better chance she was not going to live than live. And as he walked through the story, he said, all right, I woke up and my wife woke up every day and we had a choice. We could either become bitter or better. And I was like, whoa. I was like, all right, say that again. He's like, you could either become bitter and then mad and angry at God or better. And it's 100% your choice. That's the beauty of it. He's like, no one can make that choice for you. God can't make that choice for you. Your spouse can't make it. Your friends, even my congregation can't tell me to either be bitter or better. He's like, that's something I had to wake up with and decide. And he says, I just had this epiphany that God was trying to offer our family and him in particular joy during that time. And he's like, I would just find the small things to be happy about. And it was tough. I mean, you can only imagine that it wasn't just like, you have a quick little surgery. I mean, this was a year plus process, right? Of going through, chemo and radio and all kinds of crazy stuff when it was this severe of cancer. And he's like, you know what? I had the choice to be bitter, better. It's 100% my choice. And I had the choice to accept God's joy, all the small things that were going on in my life that were great. And I can accept it or I can decline it. And what he realized is, it's the same problem that a lot of people are going through. My mom, just went through cancer this year. My wife's very best friend is going through it right now. I mean, just had found out she's got pretty severe breast cancer in her mid 40s. I mean, and I've had quite a few members just recently reach out, and they've got family members going through cancer. It just seems like this is one of those, stages, one of these times in life where a lot of my close friends and family and even our teammates and members, where people are just going through some tough times. And I think God puts all of these messages in front of us at the absolute right time. And this guy, this young pastor, as he told the story, and he's like, I just decided to be joyful. And he's like, he goes, I made a promise. He goes, regardless of what happened, he goes, I'm sitting here being told by really smart doctors, some of the best in the business, that there's a higher chance my wife's not going to make it than make it. And so I had to be okay with that. He goes, you know what? I'm going to thank God for saving my wife if it happens. And I'm going to thank God for taking away my wife, because that means he needs her up there more than I need her down here for whatever reason. I might not understand it for forever. I might not ever understand it until I get up to heaven, but I'm just going to praise God and find joy in whichever outcome happens. And I'm like, and he's telling the story, and obviously it's very emotional, and it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's I can't even imagine doing that if I was in the same shoes. I'd like to say I would, but man, it is so tough to just unapologetically give God joy and thank you for even taking your own spouse or kids or parents or whoever it might be. But he's like, that's what I was called to do. And he's like, once I knew I accepted that, right, where I accepted whatever was going to happen is going to be, I'm going to find some joy in it. Even though however tough that might be, I'm going to find some praise and joy. This is somehow meant to be. He's like, all the other little problems in my life, they went away. And he's like, even the same problem that you might face a year from now, all of a sudden it doesn't even seem like a big deal. Same problem, different perspective, right? And he says, all of a sudden we started seeing things as a blessing. He's like, now as our church, he's like, and long story short, his wife is still alive today. She actually made it and is I'm sure still having to fight some stuff, but looks great. She was there in the church. I mean, looks amazing. You would never really even know. And he's like, I'm just counting it as a blessing. Now every day I got her, it's a blessing. What a different perspective, right? Same problem, absolutely different perspective. And he kept saying, I just realized through all this, God offers us joy every single day. Many of us get so caught up in all the issues and the suffering and the stuff that we don't seem to see it. He goes, I just woke up every day saying, I'm going to look for joy. I'm going to look for God's joy. What is he doing in my life that I could be joyful for, even on the days that absolutely suck? If you ever been through cancer yourself or live with someone who has, that is not fun. There are days that are just brutal, especially when you start talking about severe doses of chemotherapy, radiation, whatever it might be. I mean, that is a really, really tough chapter of anyone's life. And he's like, I'm just going to find joy in something every day. Same problem, different perspective. And he's like, now he goes, we've had so many people just in the last couple of years in his own congregation and friends and part of his network that are going through tough times in cancer in particular. And he's like, man, God was preparing me to be able to bless all of these people and to talk wisdom to them and to pray over them and to be able to feel what they're going through, but also to help them find some joy in everything, to help them look at things in a slightly different perspective. And I shared that on a prior podcast. This was, probably a couple of years ago. It was one of the guys in my C12 group, and they had lost a young child, and it finally hit him. I mean, they were a hot mess, he and his wife, and this was like losing a child on the supposedly like day of birth, like, why they're birthing, massive complication, and lost their child, like, at month 9, right? This wasn't month 3 or 4. This was month 9. I can't even imagine. He had a very, very vivid dream one night after, a month of just being mad at God and suffering. And in that dream, it was God saying, I needed this baby up in heaven more than you needed it down there. And he just woke up and he had peace. It was so real. And I just felt good about the situation for the first time ever. And I don't know that good is the right word, but he had peace with this situation. And lo and behold, this will happen quite a few years ago. Now has had multiple kids who were healthy and amazing. It just a wild story. And once again, same problem, different perspective, right? And now he and his wife are closer to God, closer than ever before. And they're finding joy in their kids now. Once again, God offers joy, guys, every day. It's yours to accept or decline. You can either become bitter or better. That was a line I just loved. You can either become bitter or better. Just like my brother Daniel. He wakes up every day, guaranteed he's waking up for the most part, unless there's some crazy miracle, that he's going to be in a wheelchair, that he's not going to be able to walk, not going to be able to talk, not going to be able to feed himself, not be able to dress himself. He has to wait for my parents or someone to come get him out of bed because he can't even get out of bed to get in his wheelchair, right? He doesn't even have the strength to like roll over. I mean, he's got to get in a cradle and it's all hydraulic lift to move him over into a wheelchair. I mean, he knows that every morning and he wakes up with the biggest stinking smile you've ever seen in your life. And it only makes sense because of what I've been sharing here. God offers joy. And Daniel, my brother, he can either accept it or decline it. He can either become bitter or better. It's 100% his choice. It's 100% your choice. Same problem, different perspective. I guarantee there's someone that has the same thing he has, maybe even a milder version of cerebral palsy, that wakes up bitter every day, that wakes up just angry at the world. And why did God, give this to me? Why can't I walk and talk? And my life is horrible. Same problem, different perspective. I think it was so important. And I'm hoping this hits home with the right people. I pray before every one of these podcasts that this just reaches the ears of the person or people who need to hear it with whatever you're going on in your life, is to find the joy. And sometimes you got to dig down deep. I mean, can you imagine? Maybe you can imagine. Maybe you're going through stage 4 cancer right now yourself or with a loved one. I mean, I can't imagine trying to wake up and find joy every day. It's incredibly tough. And, he was preaching on stuff like that. And he's like, now I'm having to live through it and do it. But he's like, you know what? I did it. And he's like, and I know now why God put us through that. And now his wife is able to sit there and consult with other people going through cancer in their church, other people going through tough times, and she can feel their pain because she just lived through it all. Oh, so powerful. So I wanted to share that with you. This is going to be a short one. Same problem, different perspective. Either become bitter or better. It's 100% your choice. And remember, God offers joy. That is one of the amazing gifts that he brings. It is us to either accept it or decline it. Accept it. I love you guys. If this hit home, let me know. Share it with a friend and share it with someone who might need to hear this right now. And hit me up if you have anything, questions, prayer requests, whatever. Joe@saltstrong.com. Love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll talk to you on the next episode.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was past